Okay, let's have a look at the code and see how we can achieve this. Okay, so let's have a look at how to do this in C Sharp. I'm just going to create some console apps to give you an idea how you can actually do it. So let's get started. So I have created a blank solution here just called distributed computing demo. So I'm going to add our three console apps here. So let's add the first one. So I'm going to be using .NET Core. Let's create. Let's start with the validator. And then let's add the processor. The notifier. And then let's also add a UI, just basically going to be a console app, which is what's going to actually trigger this whole thing. So if we have a look at this slide, so that's the UI that's going to actually call this API and then put into the queue. So we're going to replace this queue with the console app, and I'm just going to call that UI. Okay, so we are going to be using Azure Service Bus for messaging. Okay, so that is all referenced now. So let's have a look at how we can do this. So I'm going to show you the documentation for using Azure Service Bus from Microsoft's website. So if you go to this page, which I will link in the description, basically they have a detailed documentation that explains how to send a message to Azure Service Bus topics and how to receive the message from the topic. So topic is nothing but a specialized version of the queue where you can have multiple subscribers to it. So which is what we're going to be using in this session. So I'm going to copy this code and make some tweaks to it, so to make our life easier. Otherwise, I'll be typing a lot. So let's look. So our dummy UI is the one that's going to send all the messages. So I'm going to paste it here. Okay, so if I go to our Azure subscription, I can get the required keys from here. If I go to the distributed computing itself, and go to access keys. Yeah, so it's in the shared access policy. So you go to shared access policy and then you just select that. And then it will list you the keys in the connection strings. I'm just going to copy the connection string from there, and then I will put it in our code. So make this a bit bigger. And then if you see the first topic that we are going to publish to, we're going to publish it to the order topic or order queue. So let's call it a queue just to make our life easier in here. So we're going to publish to the order queue, and I just want to wait before I want to press a key before it just goes and publishes it. Okay, so what this is basically going to do is it's going to initialize a new topic client to connect to that service bus and that topic. And then all we're saying is send 10 messages using this method. And this method is basically going to create a new message. This is the message object that we need to use to send message to a topic or a queue or anything in Azure Service Bus. And all it's going to do is send that message. Very simple. But I don't want to send a string, so I just want to send a proper object. So I'm going to create a class called order. So I have already typed up this before, so I'm just going to copy paste some of the stuff. So let's see if I can do that. Okay, so every order is going to have an ID, so we can uniquely identify it, and it'll also have a created time, and it'll also have the time in which each task is completed, so we can track the progress. Okay, so if I go to the UI program again, so instead of sending that one, we are going to send a new order. So we're going to be sending it in a JSON format. So I'm just going to use and I'm going to set the ID to this ID, and I'm going to set the created up to be just now. I'll put that down so you can see. So basically, I'm going to create a JSON serialized version of that object, and that's what we're going to send. Quite simple. So just want to check if I have added any more customization to this message. Yep, so that is pretty much it in here. So let's take a look at the validator. So validator, again, the code for that is already there in their in Microsoft's website. The documentation clearly shows how to receive a message from your service topic as well. But I have already copied this up before, so I'm just going to copy paste. So okay, so as before, we have the connection string from there, and we also have the topic name from which we are going to pull the messages down. And as I mentioned, we can have multiple subscription to the same topic. And I'm just going to call the subscription name as a validator, so it just does that. We can even call the subscription name anything we want. I just called it validator to be consistent with that. Okay, so the way the subscription works, it's just going to create a new subscription client. So basically what it's doing is it's subscribing to the queue. So any message that comes in, it will be Azure Service Bus will publish that message to the subscriber, and we are basically registering as a subscriber in this code. So this is basically going to call this method, which is Microsoft's code again. It basically registers this method against that. So every time a message comes in, this method will get called. So you can have a look at Microsoft's documentation if you want more details on this. So basically, we are going to get the message, and then we are going to get the body, which is going to be we're going to convert it to a string format, and we are going to use JSON to deserialize it. And I'm going to add the reference to our new message object. Okay, so then I'm going to pretend that I'm doing validation by just adding a delay of 1 second, like we discussed before. And once I finish with that duration, I'm just going to set the date in here to say the validation was completed at this time, and I'm going to serialize this new object, and then I'm going to send that to the new topic. So if you see the topic client I've initialized, that's the message is going to go to the process queue or process topic. So very simple here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same to the processor and notifier as well. But to make my life easier, I have already copied the code, created the code, so I'm just going to copy paste my code. I'll go to processor. So this is going to subscribe to a topic or a queue called process, and the subscription name is going to be called processor. And then once it's finished with that, it's going to send the message to a topic called notify. Just again, all of the code is the same. I'll walk you through what the code does. Okay, so as you can see, we are deserializing a message as we done before, and we are setting the processing completed at timestamp here. And in order to simulate the actual fulfillment of the order, I'm just adding a delay of 5 seconds. But normally you just call your business logic here. So once I'm done with that, I'm just basically going to serialize that object into JSON, and I am sending that same object to the new topic. So this new topic, as I mentioned before, is going to go to the notify element. And then let's do the final one, which is the notifier. So notifier is not going to send the message anywhere. It's just going, that's the end of the line. That's just going to send the message to the user. So this is going to subscribe to the notify topic as notifier. And then upon receiving the message, it's going to run this. So I have added a 500 millisecond delay, which is half a second, to pretend that we are sending an email out. But this is where you will actually call your business logic. And then I have serialized the object to write a message into the console app, so we know that how long it took them for the message to process. So very simple. I'm just going to save everything, and I'm going to set the startup project because I want to run all of them. So I'm going to say you need to run a multiple project. Start. Okay, so we are going to run multiple projects now. Watch what happens if I just start them.